All right, so I'm currently on the phone with Simon. I have previously interviewed Simon with the band Pressure, and so he reached out and said he'd like to do another interview. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him the chance to remind us all who he is, and what he does. Is what I meant.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Simon. I am the lead guitarist and songwriter and a lot of strange stuff for the band Pressure. Well, I'm a full-time musician working out of Sweden. I've been doing that for many years now. Well, I don't know what you want me to say.
Perfect. The last time we spoke, it was very much in the vein of having everybody together. So we were very focused on the band. This time around, let's take it a little bit more personal. Why don't you kind of give me some detail about, yourself, how you first found music, what about it kind of led you to where you are now?
Yeah, of course. Well, music has always been a part of me. I started to play guitar at a very, very young age. Actually, I started to play guitar when I was 6 years old. So it has been with me for like all my life. Actually, it's my guitar and me. We are a bit separable. I grew up in a very music oriented house. Both my parents were playing stuff. My dad played a lot of actually like brass instruments, like the trumpet and the bassoon and trombone and things like that. So I actually played a little bit of those instruments also, but I found them quite boring actually. And my mother, she played a lot of piano and stuff like that. So I grew up with music and I played a lot of instruments in the beginning. Started playing drums at an early age as well. But I stuck with my guitar and I kind of grew up with it. I had a lot of different teachers. I taught myself. I played in different school bands. I played in my own bands. I studied music, and my guitar was like my expression point, my thing that I needed, and my vent for life and for every young problem and teenage things and everything revolting. I had my guitar, and that was my way of life. I found music. I found shows. I found a community to be in. I mean, I actually really see the music community as my big family because I've grown up with that. I mean, I always been around other musicians, and I am one of those guys who loves to go to everyone's shows. I mean, it's you're more alive when you are a real good show. I mean,
Sure.
and one of the cool things that I actually think that it's like when you go to more unknown acts, local acts, or something like that, it's actually a bit. It sounds strange to say that, but that's a bit more fun, I think, because these guys they play like there is no tomorrow, and this is the gig that all matters, and it doesn't matter for those guys if there is 30 persons there. They rock out tremendously. And I grew up there in my little city in the western part of Sweden where I grew up. It's called in Alingsås. It's actually, if you directly translate that into English, it means all in sauce. So,
Sure.
well, yeah, a lot of gravy. But yeah, the thing is, here in was like we had a big punk community. There's a lot of punk bands. So when you were a young teen, then you played in different punk bands, and you revolted against everything and the communities, and you were a real punk rocker.
Sure. So I want to kind of backtrack a little bit to something you said. You indicated that growing up you learned many different instruments, but you eventually gravitated towards guitar. What do you think about guitar really pulled you into it? Why do you think that landed as your instrument of choice with such a wide array of instruments in your background?
The one of the earliest things that I really found interesting and that I remember is that um, I heard different people play exactly the same song, uh, but they played it with their own touch. And I found out that if you play the same song on a piano or something like that, it's so little that differs it. But on a guitar with different guitar brands and everything, it was so much a difference, and you could be so much yourself and find yourself in it, and that fascinated me. I know there's a lot of different instruments that can do this, but this kind of tone that fascinated me. And then there was this another thing. It was the as a young boy, I had a little older guys who was my guitar teachers, and they were really cool. They were in bands. They dressed cool. They had a lot of things that they were kind of a little bit of role models. I wanted to be that cool guitarist in the bands, doing things, writing songs, and so I mean, both the diversity of guitar fascinated me, but also that I actually found people to look up to that were very close, that I saw a couple of times a week, and um, I was I have two older sisters than me, but they are 10 and 8 years older than me, so I didn't have a close sibling. They kind of moved out kind of early, uh, and so forth. So um, these guys, they were really important as a kind of brother substitute thing. I mean, they were 5, 6 years older than you, and well, you saw them in school, you saw their bands doing things. Okay, yeah.
All right. So essentially, you would kind of say that you felt the guitar lent itself to your own expression a bit more than any other instrument.
Yeah, and it I kind of like the way how to build my practice around it, to and these things, it just fit me. It was easy to carry around. I love to play drums. I still do. But it's much easier to carry around a guitar than a drum set.
It is, yes, that's true.
Yep, 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 yep.
Awesome. So you mentioned you went through, a series of different bands and everything. How did you kind of eventually end up with the lineup that currently is Pressure? How did that band come together?
Yeah, I've been in bands for all my life, and through the I the upbringing of Pressure was like I were in a like cover party act that toured around Sweden for like perhaps it was 10 or yeah around 10 years or something like that, and eventually I got so tired of that scene playing the same songs over and over and over and over again. For very drunk people that wanted the same things, yeah, it was interesting. But well, it was good shows. We played two or three times a week, and and we did good mileage. We traveled all over the place. But at the end, I kind of started to rewrite everything. I did metal versions of all the pop songs because I was a bit tired of the wimpy pop and R&B songs. So I did metal versions of them, and I changed the melody of them, and I changed the lyrics of them, and I translated them, and then my that lineup, they dropped off one by one. And suddenly I was like singing in this band, and we renamed that band to Crow Show, and I think that was much depending on my voice actually. So we so we started to look for a new real singer, and that's where we found our current male lead vocalist, Ola. And so and then we started to write our first album, Path of a Shadow, and we released. We were just going. We had booked a lot of shows. We were going to tour it before releasing it, but then the pandemic struck, and all shows were cancelled. And okay, what should we do now? Well, we released Path of a Shadow anyway as a digital release. And after that, oh, well, there's no light in the end of the tunnel here. So what shall we do? Well, we do another album. And then we started to work on our second album. It's called In a Dark Heart We Trust. And we soon found out that, well, to do the songs here, we need another voice. We need two voices. And we started to look for a female singer. And we had a lot of auditions, and after the world's longest audition, we got our female singer, Olive Violet, to join. She she is not natively speaking Swedish. She cannot speak Swedish, but we forced her to sing in Swedish anyway.
Nice.
Yep. But she did that, and she sang in German as well, even if she didn't speak German. So then we realized, okay, we do it in English then. So we did, and it's a really excellent addition to the band. Olaf and Ollie are completing each other, and we have so much tools on the vocal department now to work with. So that's amazing. As a songwriter, we can do so much harmonic stuff, and we have some actually a bit of the new stuff that we are doing now are swinging into symphonic metal. So that would be cool. But so that's where we went off. We exchanged our rhythm guitarist demo, and we had our bass player Ignacio joining. So that was really cool.
Okay.
And this has led until the current lineup actually. But so that's has been a little curvy road.
Mm-hmm. Well, so the last time we spoke was in September of 2020. So everything was still in lockdown. But now that things are starting to lighten up and pretty much everything is reopened, have you guys been able to get back out and do shows? Where are you guys currently at in the writing/touring phase?
Yeah, we have done some shows. It's been really fun to reconnect with the live scene. Unfortunately, there was a lot of clubs and venues closing in Sweden during the pandemic. They went out of business. Mm-hmm. They couldn't afford it.
Sure.
Things are getting back again, and new live scenes are opening. Mm. But it takes a time to get back on their feet again. Venues are a bit scarce here,
Okay.
but well, we are working on that. We have we are also working on a much we are working on a much heavier stuff right now than our past releases. So that's really fun. We have, as I said, the new stuff that we will be releasing will be a bit more combination of symphonic power and industrial metal. And so that would be really fun. It was interesting to write industrial metal, really fun to play. I got finally got to down tune and use my seventh string and do the thing there.
Nice.
Finally.
Excellent. So you guys are currently writing and recording. Do you think after that, you'll kind of look back at getting shows booked or doing tours around Europe as a whole?
Yeah, we are looking for this. We are also looking for a couple of acts to tour together with. So we are having some hooks out. We are in negotiating with a couple of acts that when we have these together, it will be a really cool thing to go on tour for together we can bring a larger crowd and have a little larger venues to tour, and that will be awesome actually.
Sure, definitely. Yeah, that sounds very cool. So why don't you remind everybody what your social media links are, where people can find you and listen to your stuff?
Yeah, it's actually quite easy. We have the same handle everywhere. So if you want to find us, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever you like under the handle Pressure Sweden in one word. If you want to find all the links to our streaming platforms and things like that, you can always visit our website, pressure.band. So that would be awesome. If you want to, we'll always say this, that we are trying to pioneer our own style of music, as we said before to you, what we call story metal. The fun thing here is that people actually reach out to us and tells us a bit of their stories. And if we find them interesting and cool, we usually write a song with them. So if you want to have a song in a story metal way, well, reach out to us and we'll do that.
Awesome. That's very cool. So why don't you take a moment to just kind of put a message out there, just a general life message that you feel you resonate with, that you just want to throw out there?
Yeah. One of the things that's very important to me is that now, when the world is as it is, we have just survived a pandemic. There are horrible wars going on. I mean, with the Russia-Ukraine stuff in Europe and all over the place. And there is a lot of strange things where people kind of treat each other like, I don't know, animals. We need to remind ourselves that in music, we unite. It doesn't matter which side we are, what color we are, what gender we are, what we believe in. In music, we unite. We are one kind. We are humans living on this planet, and we do things together. So, and how could we do this? Well, support your local bands, go to shows, share a link on a social media, take a listen to something new, and just say hey to a local band, a local musician, or something like that, because you might not think that it's worth much. Well, what if I just press a like button on social media? What will that help? Well, it will help those guys who gets 10 likes a post. Because if they get 12 likes or 15 or 50 or 75, that would mean the world to them. So support your local acts, because that's a little step in supporting all mankind, actually, because in music we unite.